Hello, and a warm welcome to Tarot Talks with Edith Mary. I'm your host, Edith Mary, master reader and tarot educator. I've been psychic or intuitive most of my life and have been reading and studying tarot over 12 years. I have written several books on tarot, Akashic records, and even some scary or not so scary fiction and poetry. In each episode of Tarot Talks, we will take a deep dive into one of the tarot cards, the symbolism, the deeper meanings, card combinations, and eventually we'll get to the layouts as well. I'll also answer any questions you have texted or emailed me. You can reach me by email, Facebook, or through the metaphysical store, Perfect Love and Perfect Trust in San Antonio, Texas. They have a ton of books, crystals, sage, jewelry, drums, classes, and of course, tarot cards. Check them out in person or on their website. So, with all of that in mind, let's get started. Good morning again. In this particular episode of Tarot Talks with Edith Mary, we are going to be doing the Death card today. The Death card never, ever means death of the physical body, though it can. I've never seen it in the years that I have been reading tarot. It does, however, mean that death is a part of our existence every single day. We die, we're one day closer to death every day. Our skin cells die, our hair cells die. We transform and change because we are a different person today than we were yesterday. And tomorrow we're going to be an even different person, simply because the experiences we go through change us and we transform because of it. So change is a two-way street. You can change your mind frequently, and hopefully you do change it towards a higher purpose, but you don't have to. Transformation, however, is one direction and one direction only. You can transform yourself from that chrysalis into a beautiful butterfly, or you can go the other way. If you want to transform yourself into a really nasty, horrible human being, you can. The choice is yours. I would, however, recommend use transforming yourself in a more higher spiritual way. We transform ourselves in many, many different ways. We get married, we have children, we change careers, we go back to school. All of those things are transformative. When something happens to us and forces our growth is something that is transformative. You should choose it because it's easier when you do choose. Simply, but rather than being forced to change, it's easier to go with the flow. Knowing that spirit in the universe, God, your angels, your guides, will never lead you down a path that is inappropriate or negative. Sometimes wildfires are very destructive, but what comes out of the wildfire is new growth. Some pine trees cannot seed until they're broke open, till the pine cones are broken open by fire. So even in the destruction, there is beauty, there is new growth, and that is the way it happens with our lives as well. Anytime there is something that appears to be destructive, there is always something new and beautiful being created in the process. So never be afraid of what appears to be destruction or what appears to be doom and gloom. It isn't. It is simply making way for the better new things in your life. So if death appears in a reading, major changes are afloat for the client. These are life-changing events, like we've already talked about: getting a job, getting married, getting engaged, hopefully you got engaged before you got married, but hey, who am I to say? It's kind of like a soul-shaking kind of change that's coming, particularly when you see the Death card and the Tower card together. There's a real danger of something destructive happening. When you see those two cards together, I would make sure you've got the fire department on speed dial so that you are prepared when the house burns down. It is that kind of dramatic thing happening, but it doesn't have to be like that destructive and that emotionally traumatizing. You can make it a lot easier by realizing it is a phase, it is a thing, and you can move forward and you can heal and you can become that new person you were meant to be. Now, on a softer note, it doesn't have to be that dramatic. It can be as dramatic or as less dramatic as you just simply wake up one morning with a new realization and you think differently. That is usually when we let our guards down in our sleep or through hypnosis, and our guides can get in and say, okay, let's make this change. Let's make that change. She's been asking for this change. So we might as well do it whilst her guard is down. And so then you wake up where you realize all of a sudden that, life is really, really different. And you act accordingly. You change according to those little changes in your life. You change. They build on one another. And the transformation is suddenly just there. And you no longer put up with the things you used to put up with. You no longer put up with being put down or being abused. And all of a sudden you realize that, hey, I'm worthy. What's going on here? I feel better about myself. That kind of thing. It also represents this death card represents the opportunity to consciously change yourself, to go through the shadow work, to do the difficult stuff and keep moving. It's a signal that something in your life needs to dramatically change. Do you need to get a new job? Is it time to shed the old job, get a new one? Is it time to sell that old business that's starting to fail and move on to the next thing, which will be even better and be even more successful? The death card gives you that opportunity to take a look at what maybe is not working so well in your life and fix it, or get rid of it and move on. Shed yourself of all of the stuff that just isn't working. So sometimes that is called for a lot of patience, because shedding the old can be dramatically painful at times. Getting rid of things, cleaning out your closets, that all takes time. Also, the shadow work takes time. So don't be impatient with yourself if you don't think you're making really great progress. You really are. You're just doing it a little slower than you would have liked. Now, on the shadow side of that, you could feel like all of a sudden nothing is working and you're drifting on this open ocean and the sharks are surrounding you. Your personality may change for a little while or even permanently, but for the better. It's like you're trying to accept the change and adjust to this new person that you're becoming. And so your personality might get a little softer. It might get a little more confused for a while. It's just a sign that things are working, that what you're doing is working. You can also feel like you're in this tornado and you can't escape. But just know that it all ends at some point. It's your spirit is readjusting to the new you. You are adjusting to a new way of life, a new way of thought. So try to relax and run with it. The downside is that you just simply say, nope, I can't handle this. I'm going back to life the way it was. I don't like this new person. I don't like this new way of life. I don't like what's happening. Stop right here. You can do that too. That is part of the shadow work. Is I don't want to move forward. I want to stay where I am. I am comfortable in my little comfort zone. That's why it's called the comfort zone, and I don't want to leave it. You have that option. It's not necessarily the best option for you, but you have that option. So that is the shadow side of the death card, is the failure to learn the lesson or the refusal to learn the lesson. Those are two different things. And so you just keep moving as best you can, doing what you know is right for you, whether that is standing still or moving forward. Whatever it is, you have the option. You always are in control. So some of the things to ask is, how can you make the process smoother? What can you do to make the process of that transformation much smoother in your life? And also to help you define priorities, because priorities change as we get older. So ask help from spirit in changing those priorities to what's becoming important and dropping what isn't. And then you also might ask yourself, why are you resisting it so much? Why are you afraid? What are you afraid of? And because change is inevitable, it's going to happen anyway, so you might as well just accept that. But we don't. We resist change. We fight it tooth and nail sometimes. And yet, what does fighting it really get us. It just gets us angry. It gets us nowhere because eventually you're gonna run out of energy, and you're just gonna say, "I'm done. No more. I will not accept it," and stop. And you stop growing. You stop transforming. You stop moving forward. You stop moving on. And you become content where you are and with the way things are. That's the shadow side, is being content with the way things are. If your life is perfect, okay. But I've never met anyone with a perfect life. I've never met anyone who didn't need to move forward or move on or work on an issue. And that's the whole point of the death card, is to get you out of that comfort zone so that you can be a better person, have a better life. So I really hope you've gotten some value out of today. Please shoot me a text or an email or put a note in somewhere, and let me know what you think. And let me know if this has actually even changed the way you feel about the death card. Because with some people, they see a death card in the reading and they go, "Oh, no, not that." And I'm like, no, it's nothing to be afraid of. Let me know what you think and connect with me on social media. I'm almost everywhere. Almost. I really don't do Twitter, X anymore, just simply because I do so many other things. So connect with me and we'll talk. And next time, bye-bye. You've been listening to Tarot Talks with Edith Mary. If you have any questions or differing opinions about anything you heard today, please feel free to reach out. I always welcome curious minds and encourage study and open discussion, as long as we are kind and use our manners. I'm currently accepting new clients and students, though the classes do fill up fast. Another one will always be coming up. All the information you need to reach me is on my introduction page. This episode has been sponsored by Perfect Love and Perfect Trust, the finest metaphysical shop in San Antonio. They have 2 locations to serve you, and their website is always open. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk tarot next time.